Hey everyone, welcome to Kernels where we discuss short films. Today's short film is a little different. It's an ad, but it's a short film.
Oh, is it
It's
really?
called, yeah, it's a
I had no
Philips.
clue. I thought I was like, okay, I'll
It's
let you
a
go.
Philips technology ad, but it's a short film by Wong Kar Wai, who directed In the Mood for Love, which is Jason's favorite film, and Chungking Express, and a few other films that are critically acclaimed. But the name of the short is There's Only One Sun from 2007. Wow, I was about to say 2024. From 2007. So we'll get into it.
Man, knowing I saw Phillips and I was like, all right, maybe it was like this is for like a Phillips TV and everything. I don't know. I guess
Mm,
in my head, I'm like, it seemed like an ad, but then I was like,
yeah.
well, it was some short films, like some of the short films we did recently, where it's like, oh, shot on a Sony camera, or
Hmm.
we used DaVinci Resolve as the editing and coloring and stuff. So it makes sense, but this is like a legit like movie
Yes.
for an advertisement.
Yes. Like set design. I have two notes in here, and it's amazing set design and great cinematography were the only notes I have. Like the set design was futuristic but dystopian, and just felt like that whole bunch of Phillips Hues just kind of thrown around the set to make it like crazy colorful.
Yeah, that's what I was like shocked by. I was like the color that's used in this like it, but also you kind of get like a sense of like knowing where this director goes to and does In the Mood for Love. You can tell it was almost like the perfect choice if Phillips was like, we
Hmm.
need something to like showcase, like we want to innovate the visualization of color
Yeah,
and how vibrant color can be. And I think like In the Mood for Love uses color in
beautifully.
yeah, in like a
The
very
clothing and
it's
the
crazy.
sets, like everything color wise worked in that film.
Now let me ask you this: like who approached who? I guess we always ask that question. I always ask that
Yeah.
question. It's like who showed up to who, and did Phillips like, oh, this dude is gonna make a good ad for us?
It's got to be that. Like, it's got to be Phillips is like, hey, we have some new products coming out. We need somebody to help us. And they were like, hey, that movie In the Mood for Love was pretty. Let's get him. They probably had a few directors in mind, but like this, I think, was probably the best one.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I wrote down like I got like Stanley Kubrick vibes from it, where
Hmm.
it's like
Like
almost like
2001.
2001. A Clockwork Orange too had some
Yeah.
like really like also like The Shining uses some like color to like display emotion and stuff. So it's like you kind of get those vibes with it. But I agree with like the dystopian. I got like cyberpunk type
Yeah.
of
A
deal where
little bit
they're
of,
like,
why am I blanking on it? Blade Runner, too, because of the colors
yeah,
and like the detective spy aspect of it.
okay. But did you think that this actually had a story? Because I was like, I'm confused. What's the
Like,
story?
yes and no. Like it flowed well, but it didn't feel like there was a, a well vetted story. It was kind of like, hey, we're following this main character who's a woman, and we don't really know what she does, but she may be a spy or maybe in the espionage or spies and
Or an
espionage, but whatever.
assassin or something? I don't know.
Yeah, she's doing some shady things, and then another character gets introduced, but that's really it. And then she shoots that other character,
Well, the dude shoots her, but it's
and
like,
then
oh,
she
that's possibly
flips it.
what could have happened, and then
Yeah,
I did this, and yeah, she's blind too,
yeah.
and like, yeah, so it's like, what
There's a
is
lot
going
going
on?
on, but like no for real story.
I wonder if like if Phillips like gave some direction of like, all right, you have to use a lot of color, but the
Hmm.
story is yours. He's like, all right, let
Yeah,
me.
he's like, I got the perfect idea, and just started
Yeah.
throwing random ideas together, and was like, here you go. And they're like, okay, it's too late. We already spent all this money. We got to release it.
This came out in 2007. Do you see this happening again where it's like it's almost like a legit like I we see it like a lot with music videos. We've
Yeah,
talked about it before where like music videos have kind of like
become
transitioned to like
short
this
films.
weird short film threshold and
Yeah,
stuff. Like do you see this happening again?
Not because of how like short our attention spans are. I can't see ads being like this again. It feels
Yeah, this
like
was
a
like
lot
10 minutes,
of
right?
yeah, it feels like a lot of like brands and companies in general are trying to just make short form ads because they know how short our attention spans are. Like you can go on Instagram and TikTok and see an ad and it's like a 2 second buy our stuff and on to the next thing.
Right? It's like provide the information as quickly as possible
Yes.
so that it just like gets stuck in their head.
Yeah.
Like you see it with Ryan Reynolds too, where it's like Ryan Reynolds has like a marketing, has been changing up the marketing aspect of things sometimes, but like a lot of those commercials are like just him standing there. It's very
Hmm.
simple, and here's a statement, and then if you like me, buy my stuff and everything.
Yeah.
And it's like more so, it's like all right, like let's just do that and stuff. So it's a very TikTok inspired kind of like way of advertising. This would be super interesting if someone decides to do this again.
Like
Like,
a long form.
I can see Elon being crazy in his head and like deciding to do this for like the Cybertruck.
I wouldn't mind that though. I wouldn't mind that for like a an EV. Like if some EV company was like, "Hey, we want to switch things up and we'll make a short film," and they were just showcasing what their EV could do. Hey, you can drive in a city, but you can also drive in any terrain. That would be. I think that would actually be cool.
Yeah, it would be interesting. Would be kind of like a selling point too, where it's like
Yeah.
maybe it doesn't show you exactly like how it is going to be day to day, but like hey,
Yeah.
you can transition from the city to the mountains and stuff and go camping for the weekend and
Yeah.
in your EV.
Like the battery may die, but you'll figure it out.
They figured it out afterwards, after they'd make the purchase.
It said I had 400 miles. I only went one.
This is super interesting. I think the last question we typically ask ourselves is like, what is this for? Like, who is watching this nowadays? It's other than us and like
Other than
random
us,
people.
yeah. So that this is a tough one to recommend. I think it's too artsy to recommend to anybody.
Hmm.
I think it's cool. I'm happy that we watched it. Like I saw some shots and some scenes in this that I want to utilize and try to replicate myself. But I don't know of anybody that would be like, hey, you got to check out this Philips ad from 2007. They're like, what, the toothbrush company, the light company? Like, no. They had a great director direct an ad for them in 2007. You should check it out. And be like, no.
Yeah. Unless you're like really going out of your way and you want to see, like, you stumbled upon In the Mood for Love, and you're like, what else did they do?
Yeah. Well, that's what happened with us in the, or at least me, and then recommending it to you for that Beastie Boys short film that we
Yeah,
watched.
right.
I was like, ooh, Will Ferrell. I'm super into Will Ferrell. And I scrolled down Google and it was like, Beastie Boys. I'm like, what the heck does Will Ferrell have to do with the Beastie Boys?
Yeah, or like you randomly go down those like rabbit holes and you
Mm-hmm.
stumble upon this like 10-minute ad of like Phillips. But yeah, it's like only a very specific few that would want to go out of their
Yeah.
way to like watch this. And if you're trying to like integrate more color into your cinematography and like how to utilize that color, if you want to kind of go a very subtle cyberpunk kind of look at it like a world, this is like, it's not crazy cyberpunk where it's like
Yeah.
people are like androids and stuff, like half like machine and all this stuff, but this is like the early cyberpunk, I think, kind of like look
Mm-hmm.
into. Yeah, I think those are the individuals that will enjoy it, but we'll still link it in the description below. You can find it on YouTube. I think anybody will enjoy it and be confused a lot afterwards, like how we are, I think.
Like
But
we are,
like,
yeah.
but yeah, let us know if you've seen this. It's actually called "There's Only One Sun," and so we'll link it down below in the comments below or the description. Let us know if you liked it, disliked it, or what you thought about it in the comments below. And since we do cover Kernels specifically for short films, let us know if you know of any short films that you want us to cover or kind of like look into, and we'll record an episode of Kernels. And please like and subscribe to Saturday Night Popcorn for more Kernels like these.